Good Saturday morning and welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Let me slip up. Wow, these are pretty cool. Frank Barton is in studio, and I forgot my glasses, my reading glasses, and thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
You don't think you'll need yours this morning then?
You need my phone too?
No, I don't need your phone. No,
you sure?
I hope I don't get. If I get any calls, they're going to be at my house on this Saturday morning. Thank you, Shelby McCall. Good Saturday on this last Saturday in March, and Frank, we're kind of off kilter a little bit. Frank's normally on the third Saturday, but you guys know we had our big turkey show here recently, and so I got to get used to Frank's glasses here. I don't know what this is, but my notes are popping up at me. But hey, good Saturday morning, you folks in Brownsville and Jackson and Memphis and all points east, west, north, as we talk outdoors every Saturday morning. And there is a big deal coming up today, and I wanted to put this right in on the first segment. Frank, you don't mind for me and you get to talking about I would have been there, but I got a prior engagement today. I'm going out to Coletta's on Whitten Road and speak to a lot of former Fraser High School athletes that I told them they invited me to come, and I'm going out there and enjoy some great Italian food and see some old friends there. But if it wasn't for that, I would be at the event that's going on at Hey Dad's in Munford this morning, and who better to tell us about this than our good friend Jake Yost from the TWRA. Jake, good morning, buddy, and I know you're getting ready to crank up out there today, so tell us what's going on in Hey Dad's this morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Well, right now I'm fixing to head over there and start doing a little shopping. He has a big, huge sale, the biggest sale of the year, but we have our annual deer rally. We'll start scoring at 10. We'll score from 10 to 2. And if you've got any deer, it don't matter how old it is, if it has never been scored by a certified scorer, we'll be happy to do it. Now, it does have to be a Tennessee deer. It has to be legally killed. I don't know how we can verify that, but it has to be legally killed.
Okay.
And
no matter how old it is, no matter how old it is, you might have one that I've got, and I've had mine scored by the TWRA. This is a cool event, folks. You want to see some big deer, and these have all come out of Tennessee. I think, Jake, I probably have 30 or more deer out there this morning at Hey Dad's in Munford, and you might want to tell them about how it works, the scoring wise.
Yeah, that's like you said, any deer, and a lot of people want to bring their granddads or their dad's deer that they got mounted, want to see what it scores. But, of course, we have a Tennessee deer registry.
Yes, we do, yeah.
And luckily we've got a lot of good people that work for TWRA that has took the time to get Boone and Crockett and Pope and Young certified.
Yes.
And I think 4 of them are going to be there.
There you go. So if you want to learn how to get your deer scored, this is the chance to do it. But also,
that's right.
But also while you're there, our good friend David Haydad, and it's located. What's that address in Munford? You got that in front of you? What is it?
It's Krieger Street.
Krieger Street. That's it. So Criger, right? Isn't that it?
Criggger Street. You can't miss it. If you live anywhere near West Tennessee, you know where Hey Dad's is a lot of times.
Yeah, all you folks in Atoka and Brighton and Millington and all points east and west and north, be at Hey Dad's, and that starts. The rally is at 10. Are they open before y'all? Are they open? I think they're probably open.
I believe they open at sunrise. Somewhere, I know they said last year people were using flashlights to go through their clothes and looking for deals. So.
Well, Jake, we appreciate it, buddy. And there's another big deal. Let's quickly just throw it in. And you got something else coming up in May, right? Tell our listeners about that, too.
Yeah, we'll talk about this later, of course. But May 18th, we got a Cops and Bobbers fishing rodeo in Atoka that we're co-hosting with the Atoka Police Department and Atoka Parks and Rec, and it's just a chance for kids to come out and fish with law enforcement, to show them that law enforcement are good folks.
Yes,
and,
they are. Yeah.
And not what the media portrays.
Watch it now, Jake. Watch it now.
The TV media.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in April. But Jake, tell everybody hello for us out there. I know we don't wear the same shirt size, Jake. So don't get one for me your size. Okay, buddy?
I know Gene's coming to look for you. So
you better get me something. Okay, man.
I'll make sure he gets you something good.
All right. Thanks, Jake. Have a great day. All right?
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right. Jake Yost, TWI a law enforcement officer in West Tennessee and up at Haydad's. And I hadn't had a chance to, Frank, good to see you. I hadn't seen you in a long time. You got your Master Nationals hat on. I wear mine. A lot of people ask me about it. But what's been going on with you?
Dog events have started up.
Have they started?
March has been pretty busy, and
where?
April will even be busier. So
where have you been?
I have been to, let's see, I was last weekend.
I
was down in Vicksburg.
You were in Vicksburg?
I was in Vicksburg.
Great place.
And then the weekend before that, Demopolis, Alabama.
Oh, my. Okay. And what do you got coming up now in April?
We start, let's see, first, of course, we're off for this Easter weekend.
Yes.
And
so
then,
next weekend,
next weekend I'll be in Tupelo.
In Tupelo. And people say, what are you doing? Tell them, because
we're running AKC, American Kennel Club, Master Division Hunt Test,
and
trying to get qualified for the Master National event.
2 dogs
this year will be in Paducah, Kentucky. In
Paducah, really?
Yep, in Paducah. It'll be in late September, early October.
Ever been to Paducah before?
I've been in Paducah several times.
I mean, as the Master National's been.
Master National has never been to Paducah before, but the grounds there have lots of dog events.
Really?
I have run on the grounds.
It's a great city, and it's a little shorter than Oregon and Idaho and every place else you've been.
Georgia last year, and Paducah, Kentucky, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to do it next year. I told some folks, I said, the only thing I can assure you, that I'm pretty assured that it's going to be in Texas.
Someplace in Texas.
Somewhere in Texas.
And of course, Frank is what's your official title?
Right now, I am the vice president for Region 2. I retired recently as the event secretary. So I've handed that off to somebody else.
So you won't be doing the book anymore?
I'm not going to be doing the book anymore.
And you did that for how long?
20 years.
20 years. I've got a lot of the books. With how many dogs y'all have last year?
1,220 last year. I can rattle those numbers off.
How did you get somebody to take your place?
It's a good friend. That was the first.
You got him in a soft moment,
that's the first
then.
thing.
Yeah.
And I promised her that I would answer the phone whenever she called.
You better.
Yeah. So.
And I know Lynn's glad that you can put this aside. I mean, your book, and you've got a lot of things going now. Not just your dogs, but the Sultana Museum. I mean, you're heavily involved in that.
I am.
How are we coming along on that?
We started the demolition on the building that we have about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So our plans are to have all the project completed and in the new museum by this time next year.
Really?
Yeah, we plan on.
You can get it done in a year.
We plan on the 25 anniversary event that we'll have the museum open by then.
That's and your fundraising is it?
We're still doing fundraising.
Okay, you're still doing fundraising. So if there's people out there that want to get involved in the fundraising, and that's FUND, not FUN. It sounds like fundraising, but it's fun to raise. Because this is going to cost how much? What's a project?
When we're all said and done, it's going to be somewhere around $11 million.
But this is really going to be something for the city of Marion, right?
Not only that, but Eastern Arkansas.
All of Eastern Arkansas.
And the Mid-South. It's America's greatest maritime disaster, and most people don't know anything about it. So.
Unless they read your post.
Well, fortunately, there's more people that know about it today than knew about it yesterday, and that's a good thing.
Because you've been doing the post for.
I have to go back and look. I think I started. I think I started doing the Facebook post.
Yeah.
8 or 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I know it. It's fascinating. The Sultana and we've just jumped through about 4 different loopholes right there. And
we did. That's a pretty good segue. I'm not quite certain how that worked, but okay.
I don't know, but I wanted to throw it in there. But
dog training is
taking your time.
Lots
now.
of people that are dog training right now, all throughout the Mid-South. My local club, the Mid-South Hunting Retriever Club, has had 2 training days already, maybe 3 training days actually.
And that will continue. I mean, you don't do it in the summer, do you? I mean,
we do in the summer. We just get up real early.
Okay, you have to.
Summer.
I mean, but
because
the test,
do
they have the tests go on?
The tests are still running, but they're running up north.
Where it's supposedly cooler.
You can go to garden spots like Minot, South Dakota.
I've been to Minot.
Yeah.
I didn't think it.
Horicon, Wisconsin.
I haven't been there. I've been to Minot. I didn't think about garden. You don't garden up there 1 month a year, in Minot.
So anyway, found out that the Master Amateur event is going to be, it's in Washington coming up.
State
in
of
a
Washington.
Few works.
Okay.
And then next year it goes all the way across the country, and it's going to be in Maine.
From Washington to Maine.
Washington.
And that's the amateur. Yeah.
That's the amateur.
And what you working 2 dogs now? Is that what you're working?
I have 2 dogs that I'm campaigning and 2 dogs that I'm got in training to campaign.
Okay. And the 2 dogs are still your
Goose and Hershey.
Goose and Hershey. Okay.
Right. And then the 2 young dogs are Maverick and Leia.
Okay. And can I ask you about another dog that you had?
Hope?
Yes. You've given up
Hope?
Hope?
I'm not campaigning Hope. And
there's no hope for Hope?
Somebody has shown interest in Hope, and we're going to see what's going to happen with that.
Somebody
wants to Hope may become a detection dog.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Not bomb detection, but
a detection dog. Anyway,
drugs.
I'm
gunpowder.
I'm a dog lover. There's a great.
Explosives.
I've become addicted to a TV show called Hudson and Rex, and Rex is the dog that works with the team and is part policeman. But it's a shepherd. So it's not one of your type dogs. Most of those are, and I've never thought of Hope as being a detection dog.
Well,
how much we got?
There's a group that's trying to.
Okay, 1 minute.
that's working on that out.
That's good
in the Texas area, and they're looking for dogs that have had extensive training already and so are already far along on obedience
and Hope is now how old now?
Hope is 4.
4. Okay. All right.
Hope she's not 4 yet, but she'll be 4.
Okay. All right. Frank Barton in studio. We're going to turn it over to Shelby McCall and get us out here on the first segment. It's going to be a lot of fun this morning. We're going to talk fishing on the next one. Get ready. We come back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good morning to all you good folks in Brownsville, Tennessee on AM 1520 and 95.3 FM. Jackson, News Talk 101.5, and, of course, right here in Memphis on AM 790, 92.9 HD FM. Every Saturday morning in Memphis from 9 to 10:30, and this is not third Saturday, it's fourth Saturday, so we have juggled the schedule and asked, come over the bridge, Frank Barton. They're both open now, right?
I'm just flexible.
Aren't you glad both bridges are open?
I'm telling you, I'm so happy that old bridge is up running now. I still go across the new one most of the time, but it makes it a lot easier.
Oh, my son got caught in the bottleneck over at Marion. He spent a lot of time in your area, too, over there trying to get back to Memphis.
Not hard. It hadn't been hard to do lately.
Well, wait till we have the eclipse. You'll think it is. But speaking of eclipse, I don't know how that works in. But
here we go, another segue.
No, it is a full moon. So, I mean, it's last night was a beautiful moon, and what better time to go fishing, I understand, than a full moon. So, but we're going to find out from our good friend David Best out at SYS Wilson and Primary Tackle, a little bit of Mid-South fishing. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Larry. How are y'all today?
We're doing great on this Saturday. Now I don't go back for another physical for another year, so I hope the doctor knows what another year is another year. But tell us about it, buddy. I'll tell you, we've had some cool weather. We've had frost. We've had frost warnings. We've had frost advisories. And now a great Easter weekend with warmer temperatures up and down. So what are you hearing about fishing?
Fishing's been good. I mean, I've been for the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been just getting picture after picture after picture of big old bass.
Yeah,
everybody's catching them. It's just been a really good time. That's typical for this time of year. So when we all catch them, so.
You sound like you're in a tunnel. Are you on a speakerphone or are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone. Let me move. I'm in the shop right this second.
Well, the building's so old. There's ghosts everywhere in that building. That building's what, 190 years old? I mean, what is it?
It's 113.
113. It'll be a great place at Halloween. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So you hear
the better now?
No, sounds much better. I think you got out of the tub. You just didn't want to tell us that. But you're talking about bass now. So what? April is one of those spawn months. I mean, are we getting close to some chances?
We are getting close. Yeah. We are getting close, and there's already some fish on beds around here and there. With the full moon's coming through and with everything else that's going on, I feel like you'll see a lot of fish on beds over the next 2 to 4 weeks. When some of the main runs of bedding will go on from a crappie fishing standpoint, from a bass fishing standpoint. I think it's going to be we're in for a really good month of fishing right here.
And this is the time, folks. Don't be deceived. I saw David, and if you're not a friend on Facebook, you need to hook up with Primary Tackle. They do a great job of just about every day something. And I saw something, David, on your Facebook page recently about life jackets, life vests. Folks, this is really, you need to wear them all the time, but don't be deceived by 79 on Monday and think the water temperature is at. Talk about those life jackets that you've got out there at Primary Tackle.
So, we have our standard inflatables, and then we also have our standard life jackets both. And, it's one of those things I tell everybody, especially in a kayak, you should be wearing that thing all the time.
Yes.
If you're in your bass boat, you should be wearing it. I recommend wearing it all the time, but at the very least, whenever that John boat or whenever that bass boat is running, that thing needs to be on, period. Now, right now, in this time of weather, it's 79 degrees outside, but that water temperature is still in that 50s.
Yes.
It's going to be cold. If you, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that cold water. You can end up with hypothermia. You can end up with a heart attack from getting pushed over, and your heart just wasn't not ready for that shock.
Yes.
There's just a lot that can go wrong.
And you were showing those things are really cool now. In the old days, Frank, you remember, they used to give us a cushion over Lake Conway in Arkansas, and just a cushion, and then we come up with the orange.
Yep.
I don't know. Those days, I've probably still got one in my attic someplace, but now I saw
the horse collar one.
The horse collar ones, yeah. But now I noticed that you can get these inflatables, and I guarantee you, come Memorial Day, we'll have Betsy Woods on from the TWRA Boating Division talking about safe boating. But now you've got those that you had on your Facebook page that are comfortable, easy to wear. I'm not sure about expenses now, so what are we talking about?
Oh, they're only like $115, $120. So,
okay.
It's not that expensive at all, and it's just a good peace of mind, and you have something that it's not overly cumbersome. You can fish well in it. There's no reason ever to take that thing off.
No.
So those little inflatables, there's no, wear it all the time. You go overboard, you just pop a cord, and you're good to go. And
you mentioned also this is the time if you're thinking about it, folks, and you're looking for a place to buy that kayak. Believe it or not, Father's Day won't be too long. My birthday's coming up too for all you folks out there too.
Well.
But what are you laughing about, Frank? Come on, birthdays are important when you get to be my age.
You have a very valid point, Larry.
Yes, I do, don't I? Yeah, I wouldn't have said it if I didn't believe it. But kayak time, right? Come on out to your place. You got some?
I've got plenty. I've got a good number of Hobies, a good number of new canoes. I I had a couple go out already this week.
There you go.
Expect a couple to go out today as well. I mean, it's going to be a gorgeous day.
Yes.
Everybody's really beginning to think along that lines. I mean, we're our peak season for kayaks is May and June, so it's coming up real fast. But I've been talking to people about kayaks all week. I'm actually I'm out here playing around with our new Hobie e-bike.
Ooh,
so that's
okay.
Something else that we're fixing to start selling. So
I saw that. Tell us about the e-bike. Yeah.
So the e-bikes are it's a battery powered bicycle. You can do it in various levels. It's kind of like a little 7-speed, but it has a little motor on it so that when you don't want to really pedal real hard, or if you're going uphill and you can't accomplish that, you just turn that motor on and it'll push you on up and helps you get.
Are you going to be selling those? Are they going to be?
Yes, we will be selling those. I've got my demo bike in. It's one I'm playing with today.
When do you think you'll have them?
We'll have them next week.
Next week. So what are we these e-bikes? That sounds like fun to me. I'm assuming it stands for electronic and
electric,
and not like something else. But so what are they running? How much it cost?
They run about $1,800. So
okay,
not too expensive, not much more than a really good bike. So
that's gonna be neat.
They got about a 30-mile radius on them. So
Frank, that's back and forth from Marion to here, Frank. On an e-bike.
That's about right.
It's about right, yeah. So we go from kayaks to e-bike. I mean, you can find anything out there. There's some things out there, S.Y. Wilson, that we're not sure about. They've probably been there since, let's see, what you said?
1893 was when it was established. I do still have a coffin up there that's in the case still.
Come on.
That's dated 1938 from Memphis Casket Company from down on 3rd.
You have a coffin from 1938
upstairs.
Upstairs in the building.
Yep.
What do you do with that? What is it? It just sits up there?
It's just sitting up there for now. It's just a historic relic. It's never even been opened. I don't even know what kind of coffin it is inside of that box, to be quite honest with you.
What do you know? There may be somebody in that box. I mean, have you ever thought about that?
Well,
Frank's going.
I don't think I want to know.
Frank's leaving. Get going. We've gone from coffins to kayaks to e-bikes.
Might be somebody in it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe S.Y. Wilson's up there. I don't know. You better check the Wilson family. We better. John Charles, you checked with him, make sure there wasn't any relative up there or something.
None. He's
Again, we're talking to our good friend David Best from Primary Tackle and S.Y. Wilson. Downtown Arlington, a short drive out there, and I know that once turkey season starts, I'll be passing you by and hope to stop by and see you folks. It's almost a gathering place. If you've not been, and I don't know how many objects you have, inventory. I would hate to think about inventory when it's time to inventory your merchandise.
It's getting easier. We've done some little things where we actually have a scanner that runs through. It's all radio frequency ID'd, so I can walk through the store and can scan the whole store, scan sections of it in minutes. So
that's so cool, because I know when I retired from the paper, I spent 3 years in retail, and a lot of people don't realize that, but it was
inventory's a nightmare.
Inventory was a nightmare. I mean, we found things that we didn't know were there and stuff like that, but I can imagine what it is because when you think about objects. So what's going on this weekend out there?
So we'll have a lot of people in here Easter shopping today. We will actually be closed tomorrow for Easter.
Good, but today you got any special deals going on today?
We've got a few. We got a few pieces on the front porch that are buy one get one free as far as some clothing. We've got we're running a few little things in the store. So
come on,
there's a little bit of everything. We got all kinds of stuffed animals and candy and all kind of stuff for Easter baskets. We got lots of options.
Come on out. And what time do you open today on Saturday?
We open today at 10.
At 10, and we'll be open till when?
6 o'clock.
And then during the week, from Monday through Friday, you're open.
Monday through Saturday, it's 10 to 6, and Sundays we are 12 to 5.
There you go. But don't go tomorrow. They won't be there tomorrow.
I'll go tomorrow.
All right. Yep. Thanks, David. Right. Always good to talk to you,
Larry.
buddy. All right.
Good to talk to you.
All right. David Best. And he knows fishing and the place out there. Have you ever been to S.Y. Wilson out there, Frank? It would probably.
No, I have not.
You need to take a trip sometimes and go out there. Eat at Slingshot Charlie's. Drive over.
I know where Slingshot Charlie's is.
Drive over to Pipe Dream Farms Butchery right there and get some of that good sausage that our good friend David Payne is doing right now. Folks, I know he's not processing deer. He better not be. But he's sure got some good stuff going on as far as that sausage that he makes. And, wow, this is a good time to do it. And stop by S.Y. Wilson and Primary Tackle right there in Arlington. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, the Mid-South lost one of their good ones this past week. And he's been on this show many times. When you think of the World Catfish Championship, you got to think of J.R. Sweat. And we lost J.R. this week. And what a tribute they did for his service on the Tennessee River. We'll be right back with Anthony Landreth as we pay tribute to the one and only J.R. Sweat on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. As we roll in our 24th year on the air, and we're going to take a break from our normal show. We like to be informative here and entertaining, and it's good to have Frank Barton in the studio with me, and, of course, Shelby McCall taking all of our calls, but we're going to take a break from our normal programming, they might say, to what I would call a tribute to a gentleman that passed away this past week that meant so much to so many people. And I've got memories of J.R. Sweat being in the studio with us, along with a lot of other people, and the World Championship of Catfishing and the fruit jar tournaments that he put on. But the man just left his mark here, and the sudden and unexpected passing of it. I wanted to talk about JR on this segment. I did not know he was the third, and there is a fourth out there until I read his obituary. So I reached out to our good friend Anthony Landreth, because I know Anthony knew him better than anybody just about, and a longtime friend. And we've had Anthony and JR on the show, of course. And, of course, Anthony, before we start in talking about JR, I wanted to congratulate you, young man, for the TWRA's commission 4th Annual Legacy Award earlier this year. Well deserved.
Thank you so much, Larry. I'm going to tell you, that award meant so much to me.
Yes.
Because Bill Dance got the second award, the Legacy Award.
Yeah.
And Bill Dance started taking me crappie fishing when I was about 12 years old. And because I was real good friends with Bill Jr. and Bill's wife, Diane, her parents lived in Bolivar, not 2 houses away from where I grew up.
So it was just it was a natural fit, and I know you guys on Tennessee Outside, y'all do such a great job, and you've been spreading the word for the TWRA for a long time. But before we started talking, the Legacy Award was founded in 2021, and I'm happy for you, buddy. Great choice.
Well,
and so
I appreciate it. I was shocked. And very humbled by it, Larry. I sure was.
Well, let's go from there to JR. I mean,
okay.
I never, you don't learn about it. It's sad to learn about people when you read their obituary that you didn't know. I always wondered what his name was. James Retters, R-E-T-E-R.
Yeah,
Sweat.
And I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. The third, of course, of Adamsville, passed away on March 21st. And the way it happened, we're not sure all about all the details, but Anthony, talk about JR and what he's meant to you in your life, and talk about the impact he left for so many people.
Yeah, I sure will, Larry. I met JR, it's been 5 or 6 years ago. T. McNaughton with Southern Woods and Water Television out of Nashville.
Yes.
He called me one day, and he was going to start a radio show, Southern Woods and Waters Radio, on the ESPN network. And I just happened to be guest on the TV show one night. The next morning, that's the first time I'd met him. He called me he said, Anthony, he said, I'm going to start up a new radio show, and I want to see if you want to be my co-host. Well, fast forward, September that year, Hugh had a heart attack and passed away himself.
Yeah.
And JR and the Matlock brothers from around Pickwick, they had been a guest on the show. Ricky, they do a lot of catfishing.
Is that Ricky Matlock in that group? Is that?
Yes.
Yes, I know Ricky.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so JR, after Hugh passed away, JR and our local game warden, Bubba Spencer, they come up and helped me finish out the year up there. And so about a year after that, so many people, which Bubba had been wanting to do a podcast, and everybody was asking JR about, man, y'all ever going to start a show back up? Just because I think what it is they said that JR and I we could tell about what the TWRA rules are. Bubba can tell them, but we can break it down to where normal people can understand it.
That's right. Yeah.
And so we decided that we would start a show up, and we started right there at Baker's Glass Shop in Bolivar, and only because they had good Wi-Fi. We needed good Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then we moved out to the Hardeman County Agribusiness Center, and then April the 10th, we're going to start at the radio station in Bolivar and do a Facebook combination radio show.
I wanted to throw that in there because I knew it was coming up real soon.
Yeah, April the 10th.
And go ahead.
But JR, I mean, once I got to know him, I mean, if it was a charity event going on,
he's there.
I mean, he was going to jump in there, like I say, Hope Outdoor Catfish Tournaments, and I mean, that raised a lot of money for what stuff they did.
Yeah.
But then not only that, though, during their annual deer hunt and turkey hunt, JR, he would not only guide, he's like myself, we'd both guide and we'd both film shows, and our friend Brandon Dowdy would show all the hunts on Southern Woods and Water Television out of Nashville.
Yeah.
But and JR, he did his Monday night bass tournaments, his Friday night bass tournament, and then in the summer, about twice a month, he would do a nighttime catfish tournament.
Yeah.
But the thing about JR, every time we'd go off the air, we always say, any last words, anybody, and of course, we'd all have different things, but JR's was mostly the same thing every time. Take a kid hunting or fishing and get them enjoying the outdoors like we do.
And that's what he did for his entire life, just about 67.
He sure did.
Of course, took him away from us at 67, a young age, and our condolences and prayers go out to JR's family, his two boys. I didn't know one of them's now the fourth, and I did not know that. But what really hit me, of course, JR is so involved in the World Championship catfishing tournaments. We always had him on to talk about that. When Mr. Freeman passed away, Mr. Publicity, Ken Freeman, and then JR has always stepped in to do those things. But I know, folks, you can go on my Facebook page, you can go on Anthony's Facebook page, the last boat ride. Talk about that, Anthony, because that was just amazing.
We buried him this past Wednesday, and we met at River Heights up on the Tennessee River, and the casket was loaded up, and the boat, I think that was JR's Black Lab, that got in there with his two sons.
Yes.
And they probably stayed riding on the river for an hour and a half, Larry. I think they probably rode to the dam, but it was a huge group of following, I guess you would say, that was at the ramp. I mean, there was some TV crews. I mean, I know some newspaper crews there filming stuff. I know at least one TV crew was there filming, and it was very emotional.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I say, I bet you it was 2 miles of cars in that funeral procession, and he was buried in Mars Hill Cemetery right before you get to Leapwood. And and that's pretty emotional for me because I have been a pallbearer in that cemetery countless times, and my dad grew up right there, and so my grandparents, aunt and uncles, all of them buried right there, and I grew up playing in them woods right there around Mars Hill Cemetery.
I didn't know that.
When I'd go to my grandparents' house. Wow. And but I tell you what was good about it is, what the preacher, he asked, does anybody want to say any words about JR? I bet you it was 10 people just
really
and started talking. Yeah, I did myself.
Did
Larry
you?
Hughes,
it was tough, wasn't it, to talk about?
Yeah, it was tough. You know, a man is a man's man when you see a lot of grown men shedding tears, and it was.
Yes.
I mean, it was a sad day. I mean, I made a Facebook post last week. You know that the West Tennessee area lost a great ambassador to the outdoors.
Yeah, and he was so visible. He loved to be on his Facebook page with his talks and the tournaments. We're fishing tonight or whatever it might be. And
he did a radio show out of Savannah with Don Cornelius.
He did that.
WKWX, I believe.
Yeah, he did. He did all of that, and I think about. But what a great idea. The family coming up with this last boat ride with his sons, with his two sons, and you know, I'm sure. I guess Judy was there too. His fiance, she was there, and the sons, James Ritter the Fourth, and of course, and Bailey were there. It was just so we wanted to really pay tribute, and you'll be able to find this on my Facebook page. I'm going to post some pictures. And go to LarryRay.com. I'm going to do a separate tribute myself. I'm going to write something just because, man, I mean, you never know, folks out there. I'm telling you what, I talked to JR, I think, within the last 2 weeks. And and all of a sudden, you know, he sits down in his chair and he's gone. But he's gone, but he's not forgotten.
That's right. You know, and I just went to the last commission meeting, and I got up and spoke at that, and I mentioned JR's name there.
Did you really? Yeah.
I sure did. And the one thing that I take from JR is, I mean, you know, I called him, tried to get him to go to the commission meeting that day when I went, but he had prior engagement, had to do something. But the last 2 months, every time I talked to JR, Larry, he would talk about he had rededicated his life to Christ because he'd met Judy and joined their church. But he said, Anthony, I've never been this happy in my life.
He was happy.
He said, yes. Well, he was truly happy, and he truly loved that woman. And I told her the other day, that's the first time I'd met her.
Yeah.
But I said, you know, that man loved you to pieces.
Yes.
He really did.
Well, he's in a better place. We know that. We mourn here for his loss, but we know that where he is a lot better place. Anthony, thank you, buddy, for taking time to be with us on this Saturday morning. Look forward to talking to you down the road. Okay, man? Have a great weekend. All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're going to talk turkey. Get ready. We're going to gobble. Those two guys that couldn't been on last week, they're going to gobble next. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Oh, good Saturday morning, everyone.
Got him, didn't I?
Once again, it is the Outdoors with Larry Ray show.
Spontaneous.
All things that you'd want to find out about outdoors happening in the Mid-South, you can hear about it here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, whether it be camping, fishing, hunting, bird watching, just anything outside in the outdoors that you might enjoy, you'll hear about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And now, without further ado, the one and only, the oracle of the outdoors, Larry Ray.
There it was. Because see, we'd set this up. Frank Martin is in, of course, retired, supposedly, Crittenden County businessman and a longtime friend, been doing this for more than 10 years, I know. Frank.
That is correct.
And always good to have Frank in. But we're going to take a break right here. And what we didn't get on last week, we're going to give it to you today. Because, you know, turkey season is in full force in Mississippi. It's getting ready to crank up in Tennessee. I'm excited. I passed my physical with my doctor. He said, just don't crawl too far when you go turkey hunting. Well, that's hard to do when you're 80 years old, but I'm going to crawl some. And so we got Mike Giles on with us this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
We're doing much better to hear your voice, man. I know you were in Florida last week, man. What were you doing down there? Tell our listeners.
Boy, we had a fantastic, some people want to call it a cast and blast, but we went down specifically to harvest an Osceola gobbler.
Yes, and you did, right? I
mean, we did that. There were 4 of us, and I mean, right after daylight, about 20 minutes, I got my grand slam.
That's what I wanted. Now, somebody may say, now, what is a grand slam? So tell them that, Mike. I know.
Grand slam is harvesting the 4 subspecies of turkeys in the United States. And the Osceola being probably the most sought after or hard to get to because it's a dwindling place down in Florida, you know.
It is.
You got to get them down there.
Because they're losing land is what they're doing because so many people down there. But I got to ask you before we get into the calling part of this, because I love to hear Mike call. And, of course, Mike is out of Meridian, Mississippi, and a longtime friend and member of the Bass Pro Shop Pro team and a lot of other things. But I know he's also a God-fearing man that loves to go out and speak like I do and share his testimony and everything like that. But I've never killed an Osceola. Of course, my wife grew up in all outside of Osceola, Arkansas, right, Frank?
Absolutely.
And so that's when I know when somebody doesn't know an Osceola and an Osceola. It's confusing, Frank. Yeah.
If it's Osceola, they're probably from the north.
Yes, or they live in Florida. Because that's where it is. But the eastern, which one do you've done them all? We got the Gould, we got the Miriam, we got the Osceola, and we got the eastern. All right, you just talked about the Osceola because of how tough it is because there's so many people in Florida now, you know. But the eastern, the eastern is still a tough bird to kill. You know it?
I've been told by many hunters that if you kill a limit of easterns in Mississippi, that's about equivalent to the Grand Slam.
It is because of the difficulty, and of course, you guys in Mississippi, I'm still convinced that you ought to have 2 seasons, one for the north and one for the south. I've never been so cold in my life when I used to hunt in North Mississippi. Okay, so
yes, sir.
I have tried to do that, but. Let's talk about the calling part because we were going to get Mike on last week. Of course, you folks that have followed this show for these more than 2 decades, you know Mike is always a regular on our turkey show, which was last week, and we have great response to it. And I said, well, I got to get Mike on. He was out of pocket, and we're hoping to get Billy Yargus on right after Mike, probably one of the most renowned competitive turkey callers there is. But I've known Mike through Southeastern Outdoor Press Association and everything, and Mike has that gift that a lot of us can't do. I cannot use a mouth call. Mike doesn't need a mouth call. I mean, that's bad business for all those call makers out there, Mike. But tell us about that. How did you do that? How did you learn to do that?
Well, you know, and by the way, I love to play with calls and test calls, but I went to East Mississippi Sportsman's Association event, and Jack Dudley from Mississippi, he was the first world champion turkey caller from Mississippi, and he won his first championship, Natural Voice.
Yeah.
And
Natural Voice. Okay.
Natural Voice. And he went up there that was before the NWTF contest and things, and he went up to Pennsylvania and was in a contest, and them boys up there beat him, you know, and so then they had the World Championships in
Yellville, Arkansas. Yes.
That's right. And he went down there and beat them with his natural voice. So, you know, several years later, he retired from that, and I was at that event where he was speaking, and he said, guys, you know, if you want to learn how to talk like turkey, he said, you get you a gobbler and 2 hens.
Yeah.
He said, now, this ain't a slight on ladies, but it said hens are like ladies.
Uh-huh.
They all say the same things, but they sound a little different.
Okay.
So he said, you got to get the rhythm. He said, you listen. He said, some of them, they'll do whines, purrs, clucks.
Okay.
All kind of things. But he said, you just do the 1, 2, 3, 4. And like that. And over time, you know, I would start, gobbling's the hardest thing to do, but I would call it a Jake gobble, and of course I can do different types now, but it's always good to be able to use different calls. But
yeah,
unless I've got a cold, you know, I mean, I called them up when I started in Deerwood in the fall.
Yes, yeah.
And, you know, we don't have a fall season in most of Mississippi, but we would bust them up, and they would all start doing kikis and lost calls, and I would do the lost call. And so after hearing Jack, you know, guess what I got for my birthday that year? A gobbler and 2 hens.
A gobbler and 2 hens. And what he just did, do that again. Do that. Make that beautiful noise again, please. Now, see, we don't have a podcast here because nobody knows, you know, what a great sized man I am or anything like that. Or me and Frank looking at each other here, and we're thinking, oh, he's really got a call in his mouth right now. He doesn't, folks. I've seen him do it. And it startles a lot of folks. I don't know if you ever I'd like to put you on a sidewalk someday and people not know anything, and they walk by you, and all of a sudden you must start making that call.
Yes, it's really you can surprise them, and I'm going to give you an instance.
What?
You probably need to talk about the Mississippi Wildlife Heritage Museum in Leland sometime. But I was there recently, and we had a little banquet and raising money for people and outdoors, and the man introduced me as kind of telling what I was doing there with the fishing event, and he said, you know, Mike, he has a few other talents, and of course I went,
yeah.
You know, I yelped, clucked, and you know, and gobbled, and of course when I gobbled, that just got everybody's attention.
Yeah, that's what. Well, you've got our attention again. We're talking to our good friend Mike Giles out of Meridian, Mississippi, and I know. Mike, the Passion of the Wild, the book that you did about 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of my favorite books. I've got it, and I can read it. And when I had Spencer, Jim Spencer on last week, and you need to go to LarryRay.com. I wrote a story about Jim Spencer from last week's radio show, what he was going through while he was on the show with us with Dr. Bobby Dale, because it's a hilarious story. He was actually at a convenience store trying to get gas, and the dumpster was going on while he was on the radio, and only Jim Spencer could take that and write a story about it. So I can imagine what it would be like to be around you. And you really like to share this. You speak you're a great communicator of the sport. So tell our listeners about your first turkey. I asked everybody last week. You remember that first turkey you killed then?
Yes. It's just you never forget something like that. And I had met this beautiful young lady.
It's a great story, folks. Listen to this.
Yeah. And so anyway, we played ping pong and stuff, and different youth activities. And, of course, we decided we'd go over to the reservoir. Everybody goes to the lake. They got hiking, they got hiking trail, picnic areas.
Ross Barnett you're talking about, right?
No, this is Okeechobee Lake.
Okeechobee Lake. Yeah, all right. Okay. I know what that is.
And,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get up. We're on the high hill there. They've got pavilion and different things there. And right above the emergency spillway area. And there's no traffic on that end. That's on the end that you don't drive through there like you do at Ross Barnett.
Okay.
So we're sitting there, in the spring, and I'm just really, I'm feeling pretty good, talking to her and everything.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the background, my ears kind of perked up, and I heard something way off. And
yes.
Kind of like it gets louder and louder, like a light bulb comes on. Kind of like if you've ever heard a cow way off in the distance lowing.
All right, you got 2 minutes to tell this now. So let's get to the cow was there, because listen to this, folks, because it's got a great ending. Go ahead. All right.
All of a sudden, I realized that's a gobbler. And, my demeanor kind of changed inside. So the next morning, I was over there. You could hunt on that public land.
Yeah.
And I harvested my first gobbler because I went over there and just took a little Sunday afternoon trip with my future bride.
And that was his future bride that he was taking a trip with, and he heard a gobbler. The next morning, he kills his first turkey. And y'all been married how long now?
That's 43 years.
43 years. So think about that, folks. Is that not a great story?
Hard to believe.
That's hard to believe. Mike, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for Sorry we couldn't get you on last week, but I thank you for taking time to be on this week. Stay in touch, buddy, and make some noise before we leave you. I want to hear a little bit more. Go do it now. Come on. We'll be right back. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back, Outdoors with Larry Ray. We had a great turkey show last week. One of my favorites. I had him in the studio, had him on the phone. And as I told you in the last segment, two guys we didn't get on last week, and I was determined hopefully to get these guys on this week's show. So this is kind of like Turkey Show Part 2, and we had Mike Giles on the previous segment. Frank, I want you to listen in now as we talk to the gentleman that's been doing this for a while. He's got a passion for it. We're going to find him in Alabama at Woodhaven Custom Calls. They're down there right now, and he's won the World Championship at the Grand Nationals and things along that line, and that's our good friend Billy Yargus. Good morning, Billy.
Morning, Larry. How are you?
I know, Billy, you've been doing this for how long now?
The show?
Yes, you.
I don't, quite a while. I don't know.
Over 4 decades. Let's just say, is that true?
I've been turkey hunting for probably 46 or 47 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I've asked everybody on last week's show, do they remember the first turkey they killed? Now, this may be hard for you because you've been doing it a long time. But is it still there? Can you remember that first one?
Yeah, I remember exactly.
Oh, tell us about it. I want to hear about it.
Well, I went to, with a friend of mine, Russell Robertson. We went up to the Mark Twain Lake. I live here, in Hannibal, Missouri. And we'd been going out beforehand and calling birds in and everything else me and Russell had. We always did that every single year. And I remember that there was a gobbler off to my left, and he was gobbling really hard and coming to me, and he had 6 hens with him, and I had my gun up and was waiting on him, and all of a sudden they just dispersed, and there ended up being a couple of coyotes. They had busted them up. I was just sick.
Man.
They went right by me, and I didn't know what else to do. I just sat there and kept calling kind of light, kind of thinking of a fall scenario, even though they're busted up, they might come back in there. Sure enough, one
came
come back up in there. Yes, sir. And that's the first one I end up killing. So
now, what made that bird come back to you? I mean,
that's just that's the nature of them. Whether it's spring or whether it's fall, they want to regroup. They're looking for hens, or in the fall they're just looking for their flock mates. So.
And it got you hooked, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
We'll talk about there's the competitive side of Billy Yargus. And there's also the competitor in Billy Yargus.
Yeah.
So talk about those two sides to you, whether you're on the stage or in the woods. The difference. Is there a difference between when you're on the stage and when you're in the woods, Billy? People know you for your turkey calling and things like. Talk about that side.
Yeah, I believe there is a little bit of a difference. There is and there isn't. I mean, that's the way I try to explain it. As far as the way that you're calling, you're trying to mimic that hen, whether you're on stage or whether you're in the woods.
Yeah.
One of the big differences is that you're calling to people and asking for their opinion when you're on stage. And there are certain things that people would call mistakes when you're in the woods. Hens do it all the time, what we would call mistakes, and they're not actually mistakes. They might be mistakes from the guy running a turkey call, but when a hen does it, it's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
Has what we call a little slip or something like that.
Yeah.
Where she makes kind of a funny little noise.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I purposely put those little funny noises into my calling when I'm into the woods, just to kind of, if they're hung up, and I might do like a little whine or something like that, which I'd never do on the stage. I might do just a little short whine because I've heard hens come in there and do that, especially if they start getting aggravated.
Yeah.
Or I might do just a little, what I call a little hen fight, where it's just a pecking order thing where hens, when you think of aggressive purring or the fighting purrs, you're thinking of gobblers all the time.
Yeah.
But hens do that all the time too. So I'll try to put some of that in there and every once in a while it'll work. It'll just get his curiosity up enough to come on in there, or get the curiosity of the hens that he got with him to come to you.
I think it's worked pretty good for you, Billy. And I got to ask you this: from the competitive side, I know you won the Grand Nationals, the NWTF Grand Nationals. How many times did you compete before you won that?
Oh, let's see. And as far as the Grand Nationals, I called in 2000. In 2000, I called one time, and then I didn't call again until up in that particular thing until 2003.
Okay.
And I won it in 2008. So 5 or 6 times, I think.
Because I got a friend. I correlate this with a lot of guys. He won the World Championship duck calling contest after he had lost for 13 years in a row.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and wins the champion of champion. Frank, we know that is Buck Gardner. Mm-hmm. You know, the competitive side, one of the greatest duck callers there is in the world. So there's a point there. And my good friend Seth Fields, who was a world champion duck caller 2 years ago, knows that through defeat he became a better caller. And there's so much difference between being outside and inside when you have to do this. Is the excitement still there, Billy? I know you're hunting. You've been hunting and things like that. Is that still a fire in you when it comes time for turkey hunting?
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the things that I tell people, they don't realize that there's way more to turkey calling than just winning a championship or anything like that.
Yes.
Like you just said, when you start to compete in anything you're doing, it makes you become better.
It does.
The more you get beat, I mean, if you want to win and you seriously want to win, you're going to work at it.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked very hard at trying to sound like a turkey, you know, and not only that, but the doors that it opens for you.
Yes.
And all the friends and buddies that you meet and make while you're there at the calling contest and over the years, it's unbelievable. It's not just a turkey calling contest to me. It's really it's became a big part of my life, as you know, and that's what I do full time. It even led into a full-time job of building turkey calls. So it's been great.
And I know, Billy, we share a lot here, you and I, with your faith. And I don't mind. I really stress that a lot on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Your faith is important to you, right, Billy?
Absolutely. It's the most important thing, because without God, there ain't no turkeys. Without God, there's no creation to be able to enjoy, or family or friends or anything like that. He comes number one, then my wife, then my children,
yes,
and then my work, and then whatever I want to put after that, which is usually hunting. So.
And you're a pretty busy guy. You do a lot of speaking engagements. I have trouble keeping up with you, but folks, if you're looking for a motivational speaker, Billy's a man for you. Particularly, I don't know, he's pretty busy right now. But he's a man that doesn't mind doing this. And you got some calls out now. Billy, I have not mastered. I gave up. My Giles was just on. He doesn't even use a mouth call. You know, he can make those noises, things like that. My good friend Will Primos even made me a Larry Ray special mouth call. I couldn't do it.
All right.
You know, so I keep trying. But talk about what you got coming out, because I know you got some new mouth calls, right? I mean, you got some stuff coming out from Woodhaven, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I got one called the Equalizer.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I love that name. Yeah. I love the name.
It's a cutter type call, but also it's similar to a combination type cut as well, to put a little extra of that high rasp in there.
Yes.
A lot of people like that real high-pitched rasp. I'm one of them. So it's very easy to blow. I've got 2 prophylactic reeds on the bottom. One's black and one's white. And then I have a yellow 4,000 top reed to try to get more bass in on the back end of the yelp. So,
well, tell me how. I'm 80 years old, Billy. I have trouble vacuuming, but I can crawl 100 yards on my belly to turkey hunt. That's what I've been told, you know. But I can't mouth call. Is there lost hope for me? Is there still hope out there for me, Billy?
There's always hope. Yeah, all you have to do is practice more, Larry.
I drive up to the stoplight and I'm over there gagging, and they say, "What's going on?" The guy's sick next to me over there, But so I'm trying, Billy. Okay, I'm going to keep trying. But what tips do you offer?
The jackhammer is one of my favorites for the beginner. It's a call that Mike Pentecost actually created.
Oh, yeah.
Designed.
Okay.
And I build them, and they're probably one of the easiest calls, in my opinion, that there is to blow. They take very, very little air. And
well, I have very little of that.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they first get on a mouth call, all they get is they just get all rasp.
Yes.
Depending on the cut of the call, but they get all rasp.
Okay.
And I stress all the time that you need to get those clear notes. I try to get people to do more of a clear yelp first and position their tongue to where they're not getting so much rasp, letting that – the rasp all comes from the top reed, so that's where the flutter comes from, and that's where your rasp is at. So if you can kind of – because the rasp is easy to get, so try to get the clear yelps first.
Okay,
and
Billy.
then when you want to get a little more rasp, drop your tongue just a touch off of that call, and then the rasp will be there.
My wife has told me to drop the tongue. I'm talking too much sometimes. Send me a jackhammer, Billy. Okay, I need a jackhammer.
I can do that. Yeah. I can do that.
You got it? You got anything with you? Can we hear some music? You got something there with you by you that you can make some music for us?
Yeah, I got a call right here.
I want to hear it. Let's hear it. Do me something, Billy.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Look around, Frank. He's right out in the parking lot. Oh, my goodness. Oh, hey, wait! I got to take a pill. My heart's beating right now. I gotta take an anxiety pill. Billy Yargus, thank you, man. So they can find out information. Where do they need to go to find out about your calls and everything else?
Yes, sir. WoodhavenCustomCalls.com.
Do it right there. Billy Yargus, Yargus, and you can go to LarryRay.com. We got a lot of stuff on Billy, too, and everything. Billy, I want that jackhammer. Okay, I'm going to give you a report now.
I'll get you one.
All right, buddy.
Shoot me a text with your address.
I will, buddy. All right, thanks. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again, Billy. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Good Saturday morning, everyone. Once again, it is the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray show, the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor broadcasting here in the Mid-South.
Yes.
You'll find out, we've already talked about today, we've talked about retriever training, what's going on in the Mid-South.
Yep.
We've talked about how to measure a deer that you would have shot earlier this year.
That's right. Yep.
We've been talking about fishing.
Yes.
We've been talking to two of the foremost turkey callers in the Mid-South.
That's right.
And now we have saved the very best guest.
For last. Yes.
So now, without further fanfare, the seer of the Southern Sportsman, Larry Ray.
Oh, let me make the acknowledgement. I'm bowing down to Frank Barton over here because we're talking right now to the one and only. She's been on this show many times. We used to have our own theme song, but we lost it somewhere in the archives, or maybe we just lost it.
It's still playing in my head.
It's still playing in our heads, yes. Is the one and only Marty Mabry, whose title is West Tennessee Regional Manager at Tennessee Department of Tourist and Development. All right.
There you go.
I did it with almost not taking a breath, but I did. Marty,
almost.
It's so good to have you on the show. You're feeling better. So many people were praying for you, Marty Mabry. You have been a part of this show for so long, and glad that you're doing good. And I know people in West Tennessee, folks. You know this lady knows West Tennessee tourism, and I believe. We got some stuff coming up in April, and I said, we're going to do Marty in prime time. So get ready in Brownsville and Jackson and Memphis and West Memphis and every place else. Let's roll, Marty.
We're ready.
Tell me
what? I think I need to make one change. Frank said you were award-winning, Larry. I want to be award-winning.
Yes.
So somebody needs to make that happen.
That's
okay,
right.
Frank?
Yes. She was award-winning, Frank. Yes. Yeah. And we've mentioned that many times, and I've told them to put that on my website, but they're having trouble making sure they spell your name right. You know, it's such a difficult name.
That's it.
Yes. Tell us what's going on, award-winning Marty Mabry.
Got a ton of guys.
Yes.
And first and foremost, thank you all for all the prayers. Love each one of you, and I am feeling and doing great. So here we go.
Go.
First and foremost, at the Orpheum, we have a month of Wicked. If you've not seen Wicked. I don't like the title, but I love the play.
Yes.
And I've seen it like 13 times, so I love it. You've got to go see it. It is the story of the Witches of Oz and how one of them turned green.
Yes.
So it's worth going to see.
Okay.
April the 6th in Jackson.
Yep.
We have the Jackson Symphony. They are presenting the Queens of Soul.
Oh.
Let me tell you, if you love some soul music or some R&B,
yes,
you've got to go. You're going to hear the sounds of
who?
Aretha, the Queen. Yes, mate.
S-P-E-T.
Tina.
Yeah. Oh,
you got to hear.
Are you
and
serious?
that's West Tennessee right there.
Yes. Okay.
And then it's got Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, and so much more. Guys, a great show, April the 6th.
In
and
Jackson.
Then April the 8th.
Yeah.
Does anybody know what's happening April the 8th?
The eclipse. I'm going to be watching. I got my glasses, man. I'm ready. Okay.
You are ready.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, if you want to really be ready, head up to Discovery Park of America for
that's a great
solar eclipse party.
Yeah. Yes, it's going to be on.
It is going to be amazing from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Bring your chairs. They're going to have telescopes that are specially fitted to look at the eclipse.
They'll have glasses too, won't they? I mean, Scott Williams. Yeah, Scott Williams and those guys up there, folks. I'm not breaking in. I'm taking over. She's got a whole segment here. But I'm just telling you, if you hadn't been to Discovery Park of America, shame on you. This is a great opportunity. You got to go on April the 8th. If you're looking for a place to watch the eclipse, there's no better place than right out of Union City. So many places to eat and so spend the day. Go ahead, Marty. I love that place.
It is amazing. It doesn't matter what you like or what your age.
Yep.
There's something there for you.
Yep.
So absolutely, head to Discovery Park. April the 13th, at the Memphis Blues Room, there's going to be Cody Johnson putting on a concert. Going to be so good. This month, the Jackson Sportsplex kicks off, and let me just say, there is tournament after tournament after tournament. I couldn't even begin to list them all. So the Jackson Sportsplex place to be.
Okay.
Then, you know what?
What?
I can't believe it is already time.
What?
But May the 4th is going to kick off Voices in the Vineyard at Century Winery.
Oh.
And I know
Yep.
it has gotten here before you know it.
Yep.
And let me just say, they are going to have Soul Shaker Society.
Okay.
Some good music.
Good music.
Some good music. And if you haven't seen the lineup, come into the Overton Park Shell.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Make sure you check that out.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to talk a little minute about somebody different.
What?
But let me tell you.
What?
If you have not been to Lavender Kisses Farm in Hollow Rock.
Whoa. Lavender Kisses Farm. And where?
In Hollow Rock. Hollow
I know that. That's Brewston. That's Brewston up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you've not been, I encourage you.
Well, I haven't been.
Go. Well, then I'm encouraging you.
Okay, you're encouraging me. Yeah, Lavender.
You need to go. They've got Highland cows now.
What? Highland cows?
I know.
We got Highland Street here. I'm never Highland cows. Okay, all right.
They have Highland cows. The farm, when the lavender is in bloom.
Oh, I got you.
It is unbelievable.
Okay.
So, if you're looking for something to do, another fun spring activity.
What?
Check out what's going on at Holt Family Farms up around Dresden.
That's another one I haven't heard of. Really? Holt Family Farms.
I'm telling you, these are some good things.
At Dresden. Okay. All right.
And then here's what I'm going to kind of leave you with.
Here we go. All right.
shout out to
what?
Blake's at Southern Milling in Martin.
In Martin. Now we're getting somewhere. We're covering West Tennessee here. I mean,
we are covering it all.
Yeah.
If you want some of the most amazing Mid-South Texas infused barbecue.
Infused barbecue. Now what?
This is the place.
It is the place. And that is in Martin.
Yes, it is some of the best smoked meat
I'm hungry.
I've ever put in my mouth.
Oh, I'm hungry.
And the owner, Blake Stoker, is the nicest guy in town.
Well,
he is so great. If you've not been out exploring in West Tennessee, you are missing the boat.
Where do you go to find out all these things?
Let me tell you.
It's
easy.
All right.
Just go to tnvacation.com.
That's it.
That's it. Or call Larry.
Call Larry. Go to LarryRay.com. We'll have all this stuff up there because Marty's not on our payroll. But anyway, Marty, thank you. Love you, girl.
Bye, guys.
Have a great.
You all have a very happy Easter.
Yeah, great Easter blessing to you too, Marty. Thank you, girl. All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. I'm going to throw in one thing right there, too. The Redbirds are playing this weekend, and they're playing some day baseball this weekend. I thought that was pretty cool. They opened up yesterday at a 3 o'clock game or something like that. I think they're playing day games today and tomorrow, the Redbirds. And that's the Cardinals of the future. I don't know if that's good or bad. But anyway, let me tell you about next week. We will have the Pun Master sitting in your seat right there, Frank.
I just keep it warm.
And you know who that is. That's the one and only Gene Smith. He's in the Hall of Fame now. You know,
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer Gene Smith. And so Gene will be in. Dave Gabbert will check in with us on the road. And we have just lined up Randy Zeilers from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission because 1.5 million people will be in Arkansas for the eclipse on April the 8th. And I know that because I'll be there, okay? I'm going to be there in Little Rock at my brother-in-law's church. I'm going to have my glasses on, and I can't wait. Are you ready for the eclipse, Frank?
I am. And
you'll be able to see it. You got plenty of spots.
The FAA has come up with some special rules because there are 4 airports.
Yeah.
Four national airports that are in the path of totality. Little Rock being one of them.
Little Rock's one of them.
Little Rock being one of them.
So
they have special precautions that they're going to be taking during the period of totality.
So we're going to talk to Randy next week. Because
he'll know it.
He will know it because 1.5 million people are coming into Arkansas, including my cousin, Gary Holloway, coming all the way from San Jose with his wife, Misty, and grandson, Doom, to see the eclipse. And so people are coming in. Traffic's going to be unbelievable. Frank will have a lemonade stand outside probably the Kubota tractor place over there.
I hadn't thought about it, but that's a pretty good
idea. That's a pretty good idea because people are going to be able to see it.
Put my grandson out there.
Yeah, put him right out in front of it there on the interstate right there. Not in the interstate, but I mean, you got open space there. This is a big event, folks. It's only going to last a few minutes.
The totality is about 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes.
If you're in the middle of it.
And Russellville, Heber Springs, all those places. But Randy's going to tell us all about it on next week's show. Frank, good to see you, buddy.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good to see you.
Keep your dogs going. Shelby, thank you. I gave her some glasses, even though she wears glasses. Frank's got some hearing protectors here.
I do. Thank you very much, Larry.
You can give those to Lynn if you want to.
I've got an idea where they're going to go.
You're going to go? Okay. You won't be able to hear what she says then.
You're fixing to start a fight.
I'm not going to do that right now. So anyway, this is Larry Ray. As I do every week, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. What else, Frank?
God bless the USA.